How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, your Ginger Jolly Geek. Welcome back to the channel for a review of What If Season 2. And I am surrounded by some of my best YouTube pals. I'm going to start with my number one guy. Not just number one American, my number one guy completely. James, how are you doing, mate? Are you well? Are you well?
Heyo, what's up?
I'm just joking, Efren. I'm just joking.
I was getting annoyed, not just my number one American. I was like, excuse me? Dare you?
How are you, James? You're all fresh back from overseas.
I am indeed. I was expecting to come back and it be, you know, sunny palm trees and everything, but it's cold. It's very cold on this side.
Yeah. Did you have plenty of Swedish... what? It's like Switzerland's chocolate. What's that? Is that Toblerones and stuff like that?
Yeah, but Toblerone is like the low people's chocolate over there. I had my Kayer and
Low people's chocolate.
I mean, I like a Toblerone. Where is that from?
Yeah. I won't
Peasant.
comment. It was had a good time. I had lots of chocolate and cheese and stuff. It's expensive, but it's a nice country anyway, and it's nice to go. So.
Good stuff. Well, it's nice to have you back. We have missed you. We've missed you, so it's nice to see you. Now, Efren, I always joke on about it, Efren, but you really are one of my favourite people to ever speak with. How are you? Are you well?
What if going on comic book familia?
You've been practicing that all day, haven't you?
I was practicing all day, make sure I got it right. Yeah.
Good. So, are you well, mate? Are you well?
Doing well. Yeah, I was complaining to you guys in the green room, so to speak, that I'm a wimp when it comes to coldness here in San Diego, you know. But I shouldn't complain at all compared to what you guys have to deal with. But I still am a wimp. You know?
Let's have a look. See at that top, Efren. Is that your Scotty Young Venom?
That's my Scotty Young. Yeah, let me see if I can stand up here a little bit.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah. I know Fuzzy's in the chat and he's a big Scotty Young fan, so I'm no doubt checking that out. Very cool. Yeah. Nice to see you, Efren. And we have got, fresh from his whatnot glory, we've got comic lad Simon. How are you, Simon?
Hey! I'm good, man. How are you?
You're good. Very well, man. And in all honesty, I jumped on your whatnot on, was it Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night, yeah.
You did superb, mate. You really did. For your first foray into whatnot, you did really, really well. Some great books up for sale as well. So I'd recommend people check out your next sale. So have you got one planned, or are you in?
Yeah, but probably in 2 weeks' time. So I'm busy this week. So it'll be next Friday. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I recommend people check out Simon, Comic Lad Simon, over on Whatnot. Right, let's just see who we've got in the chat, and then we'll make a start. We've got good old StreamYard. Thank you for joining. We've got Fuzzy. Glad to see you return to what you do best. Big thoughts about this show. Yeah, Fuzzy, I think this is going to be an interesting discussion. I really do, because I'm not sure where each of you are going to lie with some of these episodes. Jammy Dodger's opened. Oh, Jammy Dodgers. Do you know what a Jammy Dodger is, Efren?
No.
Imagine two cookies with jelly
biscuit.
in the middle.
It's a biscuit.
Yeah, but I'm translating.
Translate.
Yeah. It's two cookies with jam, like a jelly in the middle. It's pretty
Any
good.
type of cookie?
No, it's like
it's a plain malt cookie.
Malt cookie.
Yeah, so like a biscuit. And James has missed out the most important part. If you think about the top surface of the top cookie, there's a little hole cut out. So when you squash it together, the jam. If you think of a nipple, Efren. If you think of a nipple. Do you know the round bit, and then you've got like a centre of jam. Very nice, very nice. See, you Americans have never lived, man.
No.
It's So yeah, Fuzzy, we're onto that. Oh, here we go. We've got Simon Says. Swiss roll. Yeah, they do a Swiss roll. Yeah.
I did have a thing. It's called a bouche. It's a dessert I tried. It was pretty good. A bouche.
Did you have Swiss cheese?
So it looks like 4 macaroons like stacked together, but it's actually like a little cake with like caramel. So that was good. Really good.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. We've got MG Comics. Nice to see you. What's up, fellas? Nice to see you, my friend. Fuzzy, living the rock and roll lifestyle. We've also got Dead Man. Got up to season 2, episode 5 so far today. Sorry, but I've enjoyed them all so far. That's no problem at all, Terry. If you've enjoyed them, mate, good for you. Okay, It's heart-shaped hole. Ah, that's right, it is. Has it always been heart-shaped, or is it?
Yeah,
What are we
sort of.
talking about? Why are we talking about this? This is Fuzzy talking jammy dodgers, isn't it? But is it always been heart-shaped, or is it just a circle?
No, it's
I used to remember.
heart-shaped.
Is there a variant that has a smiley face on it? Is there a Jammy Dodger smiley face?
No, that's B&N.
That's chocolate, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's chocolate,
sorry, that's
yeah.
chocolate ones. Yeah. Cool.
Any more questions about jammy dodgers, Efren, or can we move on from the jammy dodgers?
No, but when I sent the message to you guys in Instagram, James told me he never had a tamale. So
I have never had a tamale.
I was like, we're not gonna talk about food, but I had to throw that in. You guys are making fun of me, you know, not eating good food. So just saying that.
I don't even know what a tamale is.
Oh my god!
Efren, is that what I had when I came to see you?
No,
What-
you had a
what were
coffee.
those-
You had a
Yeah,
coffee
I thought
Simon.
you
I know
You
that.
had a fucking
Yeah.
food
No,
at me,
Efren
Simon.
told me to buy these things that were colourful.
Oh no, tamales are just like it's made like out of
What was that?
It's corn, or
biscuit that you-
like there's a corn
It's
thing
made
on
out
it.
of corn and wrapped around, and you put meat inside of it. You know, so it's just a delicacy in Latin America. You know, so.
what was the
We're not very
biscuit cake
cultured
that I
here.
had that,
Oh, you have pasteles, like
pasteles, yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
pasteles.
they
Those are
were
like Mexican-
amazing for a coffee.
Mexican cook pastries. You know,
Paste, yeah.
Peter, does this make you upset that we've not had a little like food trip with Efren that Simon has?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
I wanna go try
devastated. The thought that out of all of us, Simon has met Efren, just it cuts us up. It really does. It really does. Now we're talking food here. Have any of you guys had a corn dog?
oh yes, I have
I
all
love
the
corn
time.
dogs. Yeah.
Dirty bastards.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good.
God,
Oh, they're so
my
good.
daughter got one when we were in Disneyland or something after having a litre of bloody Harry Potter thingy beer. What's that horrible sweet
Butterbeer.
Butterbeer,
It's disgusting. Yeah.
and she had a corn dog, and God, it was manky.
No, corn dogs are
No,
tasty.
it's,
I
it's
like them.
different in other areas. Like, it's,
Dole Whip was nice. I liked Dole Whip. That was nice. Like
Yeah. I
had a
pineapple
Dole
ice
Whip.
cream or something.
Yeah, you guys ever had a chorito?
yeah,
They sell them at
Chorito.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Churrito.
Yeah.
chorizo.
Is this some kind of a churro burrito hybrid thing?
No,
Yeah, I
it's,
think it
like
means to.
it's like a kind of hard to explain, but they have them at Disneyland.
Okay.
You know, it's long and it's like sugary. It's made out of like I forgot what the material is, but it's very sweet pastry.
Oh yes, yeah. Churio, I think we've called them.
Cheerios.
A churro.
Yeah.
A churro. God, what was I
Churro.
thinking?
Yeah, churrito.
Churro.
I was like, yeah, churros.
Churro.
Yeah, I love churros.
Churro.
Yeah.
The churro.
Tell you what else I had when we were at. Was it sea? I'm sorry, chat. This is.
It's all right.
I'll tell you what else we had when I was. I think it was one of the water parks. Deep fried strawberry cheesecake.
That's weird.
That was,
That's-
it was
that's-
friggin' amazing.
So before
It was
I
like
know we're
all
gonna
of my food levels at once. It was amazing.
I know we're going to talk about what if, but in San Diego, every summer they have a county fair in San Diego, and it's deep fried mania. Anything you can think of deep frying, they deep fry there. I mean, cookies, Oreo cookies, hot dogs. I mean, anything they can deep fry, they deep fry there.
Yeah, we have deep fried Oreos here in our chippers, or deep fried
Oh,
Mars
that's good.
bars.
Deep
fried
fried
Mars
Mars bar. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the way to
yeah.
go.
Anyway, let's jump to the chat. The guys are itching to talk more about Jammy Dodgers. Just bought apple and black currant Jammy Dodgers. Ooh. Getting a delivery tomorrow. We'll keep you updated. I expect photos on Instagram, Fuzzy. That'll be very cool. Fuzzy, we don't order from Mexico. There's a difference. That's very true. Yeah.
I'm
And
minutes away from Mexico, like 15 minutes at the most.
you can cross the border back and forth, can't you?
Yeah, it's a hassle though. Oh my god.
Is it really? Yeah.
Oh, going across the border is fine. Takes less than half an hour, but coming back,
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
it takes a minimum of 2 hours waiting in line. A minimum. It's crazy.
It's a long way to travel and just for a snack, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
MJ Comics loves corn dogs. Ooh, no. He likes a massive churro. Dead man, have I turned on to beard meats food, guys?
Who's gonna?
MJ, I'm hungry now. Thanks very much, guys. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Okay, right. Excuse me. Let's crack on. We're here to talk what if. Before we do that, if you'll indulge me with a few standard slides, I wanted to talk about this. I've teamed up with Slabbed Crusader, who's a UK comic book retailer of new comic books, and we're going to do a community box. The Slabbed Crusader, myself, and the Killer Comic Show. And the way this works is The comics are picked by the community and ourselves. So the Slab Crusaders pick a book, then they do a community vote. I pick a book, then I do a community vote. Killer Comic Show picks a book, and then we do a community vote on that as well. We'll reveal the kind of the comics that are in the vote next week, so that'll go out shortly. And the boxes start from 20 quid stacked, which basically means you keep it in a pile for you until you're ready for everything to be posted to you, or 24 quid shipped. So it's great value for money for those comics. So check that out. We'll be doing those votes shortly. We've got GP Venom. You've just missed the Jammy Dodger discussions, GP. Dead man. Great impression, James. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Cheers.
So check out Slab Crusaders website. There's some great stuff on there if you're interested in that. I also wanted to mention this. You all know that any funds raised on this channel we've been talking about will be put towards mental health charities. I just wanted to give you all a bit of an update so you know where we're at. So far, since getting monetised, we've raised around about £35. When that hits £60, which is the kind of the release from YouTube when they send the money out, I guess. When I hit £60, we'll do a vote and we'll pick some charities to send that to. So watch out for that, and we'll get that done shortly. Okay, what if season 2? Before we get into that, guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about season 1. Just a quick kind of recap. Season 1, we had some stunning episodes. I'm going to come to each of you now and get you to tell us your favourite episode out of the first season and just your general thoughts on season 1. Give it a mark out of 5 for us. We'll start with you, James.
I easily the best episode of this was the Doctor Strange one, I think. Yeah, just kind of an interesting exploration of that character, and I think it really capitalizes on the concept of the show so well. Like a what if, it's just one little divergence, but it goes so extreme with that. And like at the end, the end where he just destroys his own universe, it's such a tragic story and just a great kind of origin for that version of the characters. That's definitely my favorite. Overall, I love the show. I thought it was great. It's just interesting seeing all these kind of unique versions of the characters, and I love the kind of team up at the end, the Guardians of the Multiverse thing. I think it redeemed a lot of the character, like Ultron. I feel a lot of people were iffy about the movie portrayal of that character, but in the show he's incredible. Yeah, and a lot of these versions, like I almost prefer to the mainline one. Like I love T'Challa as Star-Lord. Like I thought that was brilliant, you know. So yeah, it's a great show. Out of 5, I'd say probably 4 easily.
Great, thank you very much, James. Come to you in a second, Efren, but just quickly, Terry, massive thank you for that, bud. I really do appreciate it. When I'm talking about this, it's not to put pressure on anybody to give a donate or anything like that. It's just to let you know where we're at. But I really do appreciate any money that you give or watch, because when you're watching the videos, my YouTube videos, that's how we're clicking up the money. So really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Fuzzy saying overall I thought it was okay. Average probably. Is this season 1? Right, you're talking season 2, mate.
Yeah.
It didn't excite me the way season 1 did, and I found the strength of episodes dipped massively at points. Felt like leftover episodes from season 1, not new. We're going to come to that in a bit, Fuzzy, but I have to say you're echoing my thoughts on season 2. Efren, season 1, what did you think of it, bud?
God, I forgot all about these shows that came out, season 1 episodes. I'm gonna have to rewatch them again, man. They were really good. My favorite though was the What If Zombies. I mean, to me, it was like directly from the comic book series, you know, or What If, you know, not What If, but zombies when they came into the Marvel universe. So that's why I picked that, and how everybody started becoming a zombie when Ant-Man was small, I think, and he bit Cap, you know, and he became a zombie. The whole, you know, it went from there. I agree with James. Number 4, I forgot about that one. Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands. Yeah, man, that was a tragic storyline, you know, and him trying to go back and bring back a certain character time after time after time basically drove him mad. I think I don't even remember What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes. I got to rewatch that one, you know. So.
Yeah,
that's kind of whodunit kind of storyline, isn't it? Like
I don't remember that at all. I got to watch it, but I did like Captain Carter too.
Yeah, I think that, like James is saying, that's the one where I can't remember who the bad guy is in the end. Is it?
It's Hank Pym.
Yeah, Hank Pym is hunting them all down and killing them, isn't he? Yeah. How about you, Simon?
Yeah, I really love this season. I think it's my favorite season over what we're going to review next. I love the Ultron ending. Like that's just, for me, it was great. So.
Yeah, I thought the last episode on the Ultron was very, very cool. I think my favourite episode's the Doctor Strange episode. Worst for me was the Party Thor. Simon, if you're
Party
giving
Thor
it
was
a-
good fun. Party Thor was
dog
good.
shit. It was
No.
awful. It was awful.
Strong disagree.
Simon, if you're rating it out of 5, what would you be giving it? Same for you, Efren.
Season 1.
Yeah, season 1.
Okay, I'd give it a 5 because it was brand new and brought all the excitement. Like almost like the first Iron Man movie. Just top notch to me. I really enjoyed this series.
Yeah. Okay. Simon, yourself?
A 4, I'll give it.
Yeah. I think I'm a 4.5. I think I really, really enjoyed the first season. I think there was a couple of dud episodes, but the majority I thought was spot on. I really did enjoy them. And that brings us nicely on to season 2. And we've got a whole host of episodes. We've got Nebula joined the Nova Corps, which is a kind of a one that was supposed to be in season 1, but then got pulled through to this. We're going to go through each of them in a little bit detail. Yes, James?
It's not that one. It's the Gamora on Sakaar one. Tony Young's Sakaar.
Oh,
That's the
yeah,
one that was supposed
sorry,
to
my
be, 'cause
apologies.
she's-
Yeah, my apologies. You're right. Yeah, so we're going to go through each of them step by step. Just quickly catch up in the chat. Season 1 was fresh and new. We all spoke about what we could expect from the upcoming MCU. I agree, Fuzzy. I agree. Sean saying he loves the animation style.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start with the first episode, guys, which is What If Nebula Joined the Nova Corps? This was a bit Blade Runner-esque, I thought. We've got, Howard the Duck in there. We've got Taika Waititi back as, I can't remember the Rock guy's name. Is it
Korg.
Korg. We've got, yeah. I'm going to let somebody else speak about this one because this one just didn't float my boat at all. James, we'll start with you on this one. What did you think?
I love this one. I thought it was great. It's like a sci-fi noir detective story, and I thought that was brilliant. I love Nebula, and I feel like she's kind of underused. And I particularly like how this show we had in the last one. She was sort of a femme fatale in one of the episodes. I think it was in the T'Challa Star-Lord episode. So just seeing kind of other versions of her, I think, is great. So I loved her in that. I liked how it, seeing more Nova Corps stuff. Like we have shockingly little of that in the movies. So getting to see some of the Pierce Fenowitz and Glenn Close and their characters, again, was awesome. So I love this one. I thought it was a really cool concept.
And it was big twists to some of those characters. Like seeing Glenn Close's character kind of suddenly become the bad guy was a big shift, really, wasn't
And
it?
Pierce Fenowitz is just a dick the entire time, which was fun. That was good to see. So yeah.
Efren, what about yourself? Did you enjoy this one?
I enjoyed it also. Somebody mentioned the animation, which to me it just goes hand in hand with the whole show. It's great animation for both season 1 and season 2. Another thing I like is when the original characters or actors from the live action movies cross over to the animated one. I liked it when Nebula, it was the same actress that played it in the movie.
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoy. And I like this one. I thought it was a good start to a series. I just watched these. I never binge shows. I always take my time, but I binged them all. I basically went through them one day, and I really liked it that way. And another thing that I like about these series, they end in less than 30 minutes, and most of it's a lot of action. You get a lot into it. And I think at least I was satisfied with the ending of each show, but I really like this character, in Nova Corps.
Good stuff. And Simon, what about yourself?
It was an okay episode. I don't think it's the strongest one out of the 9, but it was an okay episode. Like you, I just didn't really take to Nebula with it, I think. So I like the idea of seeing more Nova Corps. I wanted to see, obviously, Nova and things like that. It would have been really cool. But, we're not ready for that yet, so...
Yeah, I agree. I would like to have seen more of the Nova Corps. I guess I don't know, for me, it just kind of felt... I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't really connect with some of those characters. And I think Fuzzy's made a comment here, which I agree with. This looked good, but the characters I didn't care for got bored in 10 minutes. And I found myself wandering with this one a little bit, to be honest. I'm just not that interested in the characters, I guess. Nebula was okay, but felt very like Blade Runner. Yeah, I felt that as well. And MJ, as much as I like Captain Carter season 2, I thought was too heavy on her. She features very, very heavily, it's fair to say. As a Captain Carter fan, that was good for me, but I completely agree. It kind of takes away from the each episode of What If should be a completely different standalone almost. So seeing a kind of crossing over every episode kind of took away from that. Animation is great, but it feels like it's the same characters all the time. I want more interest in What If stories. Yeah, that's fair comment.
I have a quick question. Does anybody know, even in all of us here or in the comments, if Marvel's ever done like an origin story of Nebula? But she was human at once until she became Nebula. Does anybody know that? Or
Yeah, I think I can't recall reading a standalone series. Sorry,
Okay.
Simon, I'm blocking your face there. But she's featured a lot in the comics, and she features heavily, obviously, in the Infinity Gauntlet. But I think her character's quite different to how she's portrayed in the MCU from memory. But yeah, she's a very interesting character.
yes.
Fuzzy, Korg, I'm sick of. The novelty's worn off, and I don't need any more Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
No, I thought he was fun in this. Maybe not this, but there was one line in, I think, the Sakaar episode that I pissed myself laughing at. I thought it was hilarious. I can't remember what it was, but it was good. He's a fun character.
I think I'm just turning into an old grumpy man because I'm with
think so
Fuzzy
too.
on this. I think, it's kind of run its course a little bit for me now. I have to say, in this episode, he got right on my tits. I didn't need him in this episode. I enjoyed him in the Sakaar episode. I thought that was a good dynamic. This one, not so much. It didn't make sense to me having him there, really. Simon, you were about to say something.
I agree with you, Peter. I don't think like Howard the Duck shouldn't have been there. Like they just placed these characters because they were popular, and now the popularity's gone, and it's like it didn't work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. Fuzzy's saying here, all it does is make me want a live action Captain Carter. Absolutely, Fuzzy, and they did a dirty in Doctor Strange for me.
Yeah, I think so.
So she's got to feature. Haley Atwell has got to feature for me in Secret Wars at least, because she's such an iconic character now. GP, I think Captain Carter will show up in Loki season 3. That would be interesting if they do a season 3. I think they've kind of not really hinted at that. I imagine that's going to spin more into the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, to be honest. He's a one-trick pony, and the trick isn't that great. I think that's Taika Waititi. I have to say, I am Taika Waititi'd out now, mind. I loved him initially. I love What We Do in the Shadows. I loved some of his original work, but he's grating on us now. Even his interviews and stuff, I'm thinking, time to move on. Anyway, that's just my grumbles. Episode 2, we've got Peter Quill. What if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes? So this is the episode in which Ego and a young Peter Quill attack Earth in 1988, and Howard Stark and Peggy Carter form an Avengers team. A very random Avengers team. Ephraim, we'll start with you on this one. What did you think of this one?
This episode is when I started losing a little bit of interest, to be honest with you. I mean, I liked the story, but it was just okay. It was just like an earlier version of the Avengers, and I did like the beginning when Peter Quill, when Yondu didn't keep him and he sent him directly to his father. I thought that was a good twist. I just wish that the What If series would be more, if they would take kind of direct storylines, comic book series, volume 1. I would like to see some of those. Those were always interesting. Like, what is Spider-Man doing the Fantastic Four? I believe was the first one. Like, wow, that's a great storyline. And I know they separated themselves from the comic book and they're just doing their own storylines. But I thought I give this one like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah. I mean, I found this one really interesting. I'll come to you next, Simon, but I think my problem with this episode, it's a bit like some of the MCU movies. I didn't necessarily feel anything for any of it. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, oh, yeah, okay. Winter Soldier, I felt was complete. I don't think he didn't speak or do anything in it. I'm not sure what purpose he served, I thought this was a weak episode, personally. Simon, what about yourself?
The concept, I think, was really good. I just don't think they portrayed it at the end. Obviously, Peter Quill and then sending him to Earth to just take it over is a very good concept. So I enjoyed that side of things, but I don't think I like the ending. So
did I miss who's the lady in the Captain Marvel costume?
That's Marvel, isn't it? The one,
yeah,
the one that's like helping her, and she's like her mentor in the first Captain Marvel movie.
I can't remember. It's that long since I've seen the first movie, to be honest. I can't remember. James, what did you think of this one then, bud?
This was the one going in I was the most excited for. I thought that was a great idea, like an earlier, what if the Avengers formed earlier, you know,
Yeah.
and it was like all these characters that we're familiar with. But I feel like it was the most disappointing. Like I don't think they picked a very interesting or diverse selection of characters for it. Like Black Panther, I think that makes sense. And I think like Goliath or Hank Pym, you don't necessarily do both. I, contrary to your opinion, I loved Winter Soldier's inclusion in this, and I think that was, I thought that was cool. Like that's Russia's contribution to this team is like, here's our super weapon. You can borrow him for a little bit. I thought that was cool to see. You know, I just love Winter Soldier's one of my favorite characters. So just seeing him in this was cool. So yeah, just you know, fell a little bit flat for me. Like I think it could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot more interesting.
Yeah, so I think for me, this is where I started to think, oh, I wasn't blown away by the first episode, wasn't blown away by this episode, and I think I was starting to get a bit worried about the series at this point, and starting to think, oh, this is a bit of a damp squid for me. And then we got this. Simon, we'll start with you. What did you think about Die Hard? I mean, What If?
Well, I think they just did this as a comedy value type thing, but it was a bit weird, you know. Happy Hogan turning like Saving Christmas and things like that. So Christmas party, like how they could not get Iron Man, and Iron Man would let his suits get taken over. I do not know, but you know, it's like how has he not got a detector to say, "Oh, my suits have just been taken over by."
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit weird. Like we all know, like the Avengers Tower is a lot more secure than that, and things like that. And so Happy Hogan, and then him taking the Hulk serum and turning into this sort of purple thing.
So I think that is a reference to a comic character, Bedlam, maybe I want to say. I don't think it was just
from the 70s. I think this character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I
just
loved seeing
weird.
Justin Hammer back, mind. I loved getting him back because I love that character. I think he's amazing. We'll come to you, James, then down to Efren. What did you think of this episode, James?
Yeah, again, it's a really good idea. It's fun, like a play on it's Die Hard in Avengers Tower. I think that's a cool idea. But yeah, it just didn't have that many interesting characters in it. I like Happy, but I don't feel like he's an anchor for something like this. I think if anything, I think it would have been better if it was
The girl.
the girl. What's the girl's name? From
Darcy?
Thor.
Is it Darcy?
Darcy. Yeah, she'd have been a more fun protagonist for this. I think. Like I would have liked that a bit more. Or there's other characters you could have used instead. I didn't really like the Hulk serum thing, and that comes into a later episode, like the 1602 episode, and that was just confusing to me. I was like, why is that crossed over here? But like Justin Hammer is fantastic and was fantastic in this, so that's the highlight for me.
What's that actor called again? Forgetting his name.
Sam Rockwell.
Is it Sam Rockwell. Yeah,
Sam Rockwell. He's supposed to be back for Armor Wars. Thank God.
Yeah,
'cause I love
I
him.
hope
Like,
so.
yeah.
I mean, I think he was the standout of Iron Man 2 for me. I love Sam Rockwell. Efren, what did you think of this one?
This is when I started to lose interest in the series. You know, it was just okay for me. You know, like I agree. You know, Happy Hogan. I didn't think he should have been the main character in this. That's a good point. I think James said Darcy. I think that would have been more fun watching her become some type of Hulk creature. I think he became a Hulk creature, but he was just fumbling through the whole episode, you know. And I just didn't like the way the Avengers didn't even really care until the very end. It seems like they thought Happy had it, you know, all figured out, and it was just like a 30-minute episode of Die Hard, you know. So just trying to catch up with the bad guys. So this is the lowest rated one for me, for sure. This is when I started thinking, oh my God, how many more episodes are left?
Yeah. I mean, I get what they were doing. This was released Christmas time-ish, so they wanted a Christmas happy movie kind of thing. For me, it just tonally didn't necessarily work. I watched it and it was okay, but it certainly didn't excite us in any way. And at times it just felt a bit silly. Like you're saying, Simon, you know, you have to switch your brain off. I know this is just cartoon and comics and stuff like that, but it was laughable that he just walks into Avengers Tower and takes the entire place over and gets his own. I mean, not even just the Iron Man armor; it was the bloody Hulkbuster, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He gets the Hulkbuster armor, and Yeah, it felt a
It's
bit
like, yeah.
over silly. Again, Happy Hogan, where's Shang-Chi, or Riri Williams are yelling at. Yeah, it just felt like an afterthought. Yeah, can't disagree, Fuzzy. By this point, I have to say, guys, 3 episodes in, and I was starting to think this isn't doing it for me at all. And then we've got this episode. I'll start off on this one. This is what if Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster. Tony Stark challenges the Grandmaster, leading to a Grand Prix turned demolition derby. Now, I absolutely love the Grandmaster character. I just love, and I think they portrayed him really well in this. I liked the humour of it. I liked the kind of the facial expressions and things. Jeff Goldblum's just a god, you know. I think he's amazing. There were some stupid bits of this. It didn't make much sense, but it was just a fun episode, I guess. I liked the kind of the car racing, Mario Kart almost-esque kind of racing at the end and stuff. And I thought Korg was okay in this. So for me, out of the last few episodes, this was the strongest. I think I enjoyed this for just silliness more than the previous ones. Efren, we'll start with you this time.
This is when it kept on going downhill for me for this one. You know, I just didn't like it. I thought it was just too goofy for me. You know, I wanted something more in depth, you know, more, I don't know, more cinematic, so to speak. You know, I love the race scenes. Whoever was the voice actor for Iron Man, though, I think it was spot on. It almost sounded like Robert Downey Jr. a couple of times. Wow, he's doing really good. I think that, to me, that's really important. Like, these characters, we know them from, like I said, from the cinematic universe. And when they cross over to the animated, like Jeff Goldblum, I thought it was spot on. But it was just an average show for me. This is when I started thinking, dang it, this better end good, the whole series.
Sean's just saying, yeah, Jeff Goldblum really annoyed him. I could just watch Jeff Goldblum all day long. He's just so eccentric. Simon, yourself.
So after this episode, I actually stopped until last night and then watched the rest of them. So this shows how bored I was at this point. I did sort of enjoy this episode better than the other 3, like you said, because of the racing and the concept again with, you know, Iron Man landing into Shikar. There was some funny bits as well. But yeah, I sort of switched it off straight after this episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that gets a dang it.
Yeah.
From GP, look. Dang it.
Dang it.
James, thoughts on this one?
I really liked it. I thought it was fun. Jeff Goldblum's great as Grandmaster. He's just a fun character. Like, every minute he's on screen was great. I really liked the dynamic between Tony and Gamora. That, like, it makes sense at this point in the timeline where he's just destroyed Thanos' ship. Obviously, she has like a bone to pick with him, and I thought that was really fun to see that. You know. So yeah, it was a good fun episode. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Interestingly, when this was meant to be out, however long ago it was, 2 years ago or whatever,
Yep.
Hot Toys immediately jumped on it and thought this was so good that they made an Iron Man Hot Toy 1/6 of this armor, and it's friggin' awful. I remember seeing it at the time and thinking, what the hell is that? And it's out now, and it just looks like a big chunk of bright yellow and red plastic. It's awful. But it's interesting that they jumped on it so quickly, you know, and put a figure out straight away, hoping that this would be a success. And yet we haven't got a Grandmaster figure, which is just crackers. Okay, and then we'll get to this. What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomp? I will start with you, James, on this one. What did you think of this?
Yeah, Winter Soldier is my favorite movie of all time. So seeing, you know, the what if version of that was fantastic. I really love the twist of it. It has a good twist towards the end where it's like he was using her the entire time, and I thought that was good, but then he still gets his redemption at the end. It ties into Black Widow a little bit as well, doesn't it, with the Red Room, and some of the characters come into that. So yeah, love this one. I have to look at the list again. This might be my favorite one out of the season. I thought this was fantastic.
I really enjoyed this one. I thought this was very, very interesting. It had good action, good pacing. My only niggle is I wish they'd not pussied out at the end. So you get Steve's redemption arc with him flying into the ship and it exploding. And then I think at the end, Peggy says he's still out there somewhere. We're going to hunt for him. I would rather he was just dead. Do you know what I mean? I wanted him to kind of have had that heroic sacrifice.
Well, I suppose it mirrors the Winter Soldier movie more that way. Like Bucky gets away in that. So yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was a strong episode. Efren, was this one winning you back?
So when I just read the title, I went, "Oh my God, is this a What If series or is this a Captain Carter series?" I started from there. I was like, "God, they're really pushing her to the forefront of these What If series." I go, "This should be different characters," and that was before I even seen the episode, but I loved it. Yeah. I really enjoyed this arc. I think Captain Carter and Steve Rogers, they're like star-crossed lovers. They always seem destined to be together, but they never are. For the most part. I just like the character development. I like the action scenes and Steve Rogers, how we became heroic at the end. I like when they showed an older Bucky, too, in this series, and I like when the original actors, they cross over to the animated series and you hear their voices. But I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much because I said, "Oh my God, Captain Carter again, guys, move on." But I'm glad, and it proceeds from there. So I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, it was a good one. A good one. Simon, yourself?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Obviously, it's Captain Carter, so anything with Captain Carter in, I actually enjoy. I really like the character as well. I just love the concept of it. I thought it, after having watched those first 4, watching this picked it back up a little bit for me. Yeah.
Sean's saying that it felt a little bit like Iron Giant at times. Yeah, I get where you're coming
the
from,
designs similar.
Yeah. And I think Fuzzy's got a really good point here, because I thought this about halfway through the season. He's surprised they didn't try and change the animation styles like the Star Wars Visions one does. I was starting to get a bit bored with the animation style. It would have been nice to have mixed it up a little
That's
bit.
actually, I think, a really great point. Like, I think maybe that's what they would have done had, like, Visions, the idea for Visions come up first. We had What If a couple of years before Visions came out, so... but I think you're bang on though. Like, it would be cool to see them change up the styles a little bit. Have an anime episode. Have a,
I think
season 1 was all the same art style, wasn't it? Was season 1 the same?
No.
Yeah.
What Visions?
Not Visions. Sorry, no.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
What If? Yeah.
No. What If? Yeah, I think that would have looked cool if you'd swapped them up a little bit. Would have been really
because like the Kohori one, you could have had like a kind of a, Native American painting almost kind of brush stroke kind of thing. Would have been cool.
Yeah. I think that's a great... Fuzzy, you should drop them an email, mate. We'll get the next season in Fuzzy Vision. That would be good. Okay, now this is the interesting episode, and Efren, I'll come to you to talk about this one. This is the introduction of a brand new character. What did you think of this one, Efren?
I loved it. It was a brand new character that had never been introduced before. I like the take of a Mohawk woman ventures into waters of the Forbidden Lake to help save her people. Just the effect, the power source that they had her running. I like the light blue streak and everything. I really enjoyed it. I'm going, they are going to bring this character over to a comic book, and I'm going to buy it. I just really enjoyed this one because it was fresh, new, and different.
Interesting.
All these other episodes, these are characters that we've known for decades. This is a brand new character they made specifically for this season of What If, and hopefully they'll show more of her. But I really enjoyed it. This is when I started thinking, okay, I'm glad I stuck it out. Plus, if I only had watched the first 5 episodes, I wouldn't be able to say anything else more on Peter's show today. But I really enjoyed it. It just hit home to me for some reason.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? It was very interesting. Simon, what did you think?
I really enjoyed this. This is one of my favorite episodes, I think, out of the lot. I like the introduction to the new character, the concept of the cosmic cube. No, Tesseract. Sorry, Tesseract.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
No, it's in Marvel. I mean, in the MCU, I think it's an Infinity Stone, isn't it? But in the comics, it serves the same purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I think introducing a new character at this point, and she has to come into a comic or even into the MCU live. Actually,
she's coming to the MCU. She's
100%.
in Secret Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
she's definitely in Secret Wars. James, what did you think, bud?
Fantastic. I thought that another one I was really excited for, like an original character, to see what they would do with that. And I think they absolutely delivered on that. Really great origin, just a unique type of character to have. I don't know if this was like a Mandela effect or something, but I swore that she was played, but when they announced that this character was happening, that they said it was going to be Amber Midthunder, who is the lead actress from Prey, playing her.
Yeah. I'm sure I saw that.
It's not. It's not her.
Okay.
It's a different actress who's going to be an Echo as well as a different character.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit like, if we get her in live action, I would like Amber Midthunder to play her because I think that she's an amazing actress, and I just love to see her in more stuff. Well, 100% we're getting a comic book this year. I'm certain, first appearance of her in comics. And like live action down the road. Sure.
So I'm sure I saw that she's already coming to what's that Marvel app game, fighting app thing. Future Fate.
Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen images that are coming to that. So yeah, I thought this episode was brilliant. I thought the power set looked amazing. I think that'll look amazing in live action. The blue kind of glow.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I thought, and don't shoot us, but I thought it was really brave and really interesting for them to leave this entire episode subtitled.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
I thought that was really
I like that they
interesting,
did that
wasn't
though. You know, I was happy they went that route.
So I thought it was spot on. Fuzzy saying by far the standout episode, fresh, exciting. Love to see a live action version. Agents of Atlas is a good call, Fuzzy. That will be really interesting. So yeah,
I looked up the actress name. Her name is Devery Jacobs, who played Kahori, the voice actress.
Yeah.
And like James said, she's going to be an Echo. I went, that's cool.
As it's just a separate character, yeah.
Yeah, separate character. Yes.
yeah, definitely coming to the MCU. I think definitely coming. Right, I'm going to start on this one. This is what if Hela found the 10 rings. This is Hela stripped of her powers and banished to Earth. Very much the similar kind of storyline as you get in the first Thor movie, and with Odin casting her down. And when she's there, she meets up with the I forgot the gentleman's name, the
Mandarin.
The Mandarin, yeah, but I can't remember what his real name is. Lenwu, yeah. She meets it with Wenwu. And then Odin comes to claim the rings back, and I absolutely love this episode. I think this might be my favourite episode. I think it's probably because I love the character of Hela in terms of how she's played by is it Kate
Blanchett, yeah.
Blanchett, yeah. I think you can almost feel that she's just having fun playing the character. I just thought this was a really, really strong episode. Enjoyed the art style in this. I know it's the same as the other episodes, but it fitted well, I think, with that kind of stuff. My only grumble was, a bit like Ephraim was talking about earlier on about how you hear the voices of characters. I didn't think the guy who did Odin was particularly strong. He didn't have that Anthony Hopkins ring to him, I don't think. But yeah, this for me was one of the better episodes. Simon, come to you first. What did you think of this one?
I agree with you, Peter. I think it was a very good episode. Seeing Hela, different, side. Obviously, I was thinking, okay, but where's Thor in this? He just casting Hela aside, But I think she just portrayed her really well, and I think that the whole concept, falling in love with it, and it's very different episode, isn't it? One bugbear is I'd love seeing her at the end with like holding, is it Odin's spear?
Yeah.
And then she said something like a saying on the end when she regains her helmet, and she says it's not just about death, it's also knowing about life or something like that. And I thought that was amazing. I'm better not say it till now, but I would have loved to see her in the next episode.
Yeah.
And she didn't come in. So
yeah, very cool. Very cool. James?
Standout episode, I feel, of the season. Fantastic, just a great idea. I think very similar to like the Ultron stuff in the first one, where I wouldn't say like Hela's a character that disappointed people, but like she's not utilized as well as she could. She's very one note in Ragnarok. I feel this added like some depth to her, and some character. I absolutely love that, and yeah, like I 100% agree with Simon that the ending of this, it would have been nice for the crossover episode later for her to have shown up in that. I think it's a missed opportunity that they didn't do that, but yeah, it was fantastic. I thought this one,
and it's brave, I suppose, in some regards, because it would have been so easy to make this a Loki story and have Loki the person that gets cast down and all the rest of it. So I think choosing Hela and getting Kate Blanchett back in was just a masterstroke. Ephraim, what about yourself?
I loved it. This is the kind of storyline that reminded me of the comic book series, something that's different. What if Hela found the 10 rings? I never thought it would be a good storyline, but it was. And it was like a redemption arc for her. She's basically her whole thing with death, but then the way little by little she started turning into a being of, lightness, so to speak. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I wish they would have continued this character more in the future episodes. This is what I was talking about. Like the first 3 or 4 episodes of What If season 2, I was like, I don't know. But it really started picking up with episodes 6 and 7 for me, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad I binged it at the end. But I really like the character a lot.
I think you're absolutely right, Efren. And I think going back to something Fuzzy said earlier, I wasn't a big fan initially of the kind of the daily release kind of thing, but I think if I had to wait a week before episodes, my interest would have waned, and I might not have even gotten to this point. I'm not sure. But the last couple of episodes, or certainly the last few episodes of the season, really kind of picked up for me, and I started to enjoy the narrative a lot more. And then we get to this one, and James, you can start off on this one. This is What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602.
Yeah, this is great. I love this universe. Like I'm a big fan of that. 1602 stuff is Neil Gaiman, isn't it?
Yeah,
comics.
yeah.
Love it. One of my favorite Marvel universes. So I just thought this was really, a fun one. I like that Captain. I know, like, some of you are a bit like too much Captain Carter in this, but I thought she fit into this really well. I like the kind of, like Captain America is like a Robin Hood type character. Tony Stark is like a Da Vinci type guy. I thought that was really fun, and everybody fits into it, and their role fits into it really well, I thought. So it was cool. It's good fun. And seeing just Thor be a dick king, I thought was funny as well. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I enjoyed this one. I kind of wish we'd seen more variants. I would like to have seen more of the universe, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Efren, what about yourself?
I also really like this episode. I like that they went back in 1602, but I just realized everybody was transported from the regular universe to 1602, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get that until right now. I was like, what happened to them at the end? That's what threw me off. I was confused. So whatever, but now I get it. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I like I was starting to really, like I said at the beginning, I thought, Captain Carter, come on, too much. But I'm glad they kept her story arc alive now, because it was very interesting, and they focused on one main character basically throughout the whole series. But I don't know if they should do it with season 3 with her. Just give people different things to enjoy, like the Hello one. I thought that was different, and I liked it.
So for me, Efren, I think you've made a really interesting point. I think if we look at the Marvel universe at the moment, if we look at the movie universe, they're obsessed almost with this interconnected universe and the multiverse, and everything's got a link in. And I kind of feel that's what they did with this season a little bit, kind of Captain Carter linking into all this stuff. What If has always been about standalone episodes, standalone issues. Yep. Very rarely you'd get like a 2-parter or something like that, but it's just snapshots. And I kind of feel, for me, this season started to lose that a little bit, and I don't know why. I'd rather go back to just, your standard, this is a 30-minute, 40-minute story, and that's it. It doesn't have to connect to the wider picture. Simon, what did you think of this one?
I enjoyed this episode. I think we can all agree the one thing I didn't enjoy was seeing the purple Happy Hogan in it.
Yeah, that made no sense.
It made no sense at all.
Stupid.
At all. Other than that, I love the plot twist at the end of it. I thought it was great. So,
okay, guys, last episode. What if Supreme Strange intervened? This is kind of a crescendo episode. We'll get to see a whole host of different variant characters in this one. We'll get a really interesting kind of climax battle. I have to say I really enjoyed that. I loved Hela kind of chucking the helm to Peggy, and then you get Mjolnir, and I thought this was a pretty strong episode. Love Evil Supreme Strange. Disappointed that he fell back into the kind of the villain trope in some regards. But I guess that's in line with his character. We'll start with you, Efren. What did you think?
I loved it. I was like, oh my God, just like I said, I kept on complaining about Peggy Carter, but I'm glad that she was in like a majority of these episodes. And they brought back, if I'm pronouncing her name right, the Kahori? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I like that they brought her back and they teamed her up with Peggy Carter. She's speaking English now. I bet you she's been alive for centuries. And I like her powers. To me, they're just very unique. I loved when they threw all the weapons and everything, that like Hela's helmet, Thor's hammer, everything, and they all picked it up. The Infinity Stones she got, and she was, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. It's hard to believe that this is basically, these are just 30-minute show. and they
Yeah.
jam pack so much into it. You think I know movies are always 2-3 hours long because they want to get the audience in, but they basically can do a movie in 30 minutes and fill, everything that's important about each episode. I loved it, and I thought it was a good way. The ending was perfect. It left in a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And, hopefully, they said season 3 is coming soon. They haven't pronounced the date, but I think it's going to be in 2024.
Yeah.
I wish they would make it more than 9 or 10 episodes. Sometimes I wish they would make it about 15 or 16,
I kind of wish some of them would. I'd be happy with like an hour-long episode.
Yeah.
Make it a feature. Do you know what I mean? Get more in depth into it. James, what did you think of this one?
I loved it. I thought it was great. It was almost felt like a little preview of what we'll get in like a Secret Wars, where it's like all these characters, these that we've seen before, cropping back up. I thought it was fun. Like Thanos shows up and then Killmonger snaps him away, and then Kahori just deals with Killmonger really quick. I thought that was really fun. I feel like I would have liked. It felt like a little bit of a step back, I think, from like the first season where you had like every protagonist from every episode showed up there, whereas we only get 2 of them in this one. I think that's a bit unfortunate. I also think the Strange Supreme thing, the reveal of him being a bad guy, maybe we should have got more we should have seen a bit. You could have teased that out a little bit more. I feel rather than it's just he's the bad guy and here we go. Maybe you could have like seen that he's doing things throughout and then reveal, and then we get an episode explaining what happened there. That would have been cool. But it was a cool climax. I thought it was really fun. Solid. I thought definitely.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying about the kind of seeing the enemies and stuff, because you could have had a whole mass of the 1602 characters or whatever, in that. Yeah,
we got Scarlet Witch anyway from Zombies. That was fun.
That was a
the
very
zombie
cool
one
scene.
was good. Yeah.
What did you think of it, Simon?
I think it was a nice episode. It was very fun. It was interesting episode. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I think there was bits it lagged on, like James was saying. He went and captured all these people and bad guys from different multiverses. There should have been some really, really nasty guys in there and heroes as well. And there just wasn't. There was just like plain. Do you know what I mean? When they turned up, I was like, "Is that it?" That's nothing really scary for multiverses. You know.
No, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. Fuzzy's saying, it's good. If it's good, fine, give us more episodes. But the first 5 episodes were dull for me. Can't disagree with that, Fuzzy. I think you're right, mate. Okay, so that's all of what episodes. Tell us what your favourite episode was and what you think the weakest episode was. And we'll start with you, James.
It's tough. I feel like 5, 6, 7 is a great run. Like those are like 3 very the 3 highlights of the season, I think. I think I'm gonna go Hela and the Ten Rings. I think that was excellent. Unexpected how they did it. I like that having the Shang-Chi stuff felt fresh, because I feel like so many of these just tie into phase 1, phase 2 stuff. Having like a more recent movie play into it was good. So I think that was the one that was most unexpected for me, and the one that I think that surprised me the most. So I would go with that one.
Okay. Weakest?
Probably the Happy Hogan Saves Christmas. I think it's just kind of a forgettable one. If I could remove one of these, I don't know, the Peter Quill attacks are my hero. No, I'd say the Happy Hogan one is probably the weakest for me. I think you could have fixed that if you just changed the protagonists.
Yeah. Okay. Ephraim, how about yourself?
Before I tell you my favorite and least favorite, what would be a good series that I was just thinking about it. If you guys remember the comic book series, The Exiles from Marvel, when they go to different universes, I think I would like to see that animated. Just looking at this when they go to different worlds. This is my opinion.
There's some amazing runs in that series, actually, Ephraim. Some very cool series.
I think that'd be a good one for Marvel to do. My favorite, though, was episode 6, Kahori Reshaped the World. There was a whole new character that was introduced, so that really got my attention. I really liked the arc of this character. Again, it was only 30 minutes long, and you learned a lot about her. And I like that she came back in episode 9, and she's going to come out in a comic book, I think, by this year. I think it's a really popular character. My least favorite, I think we're all going to pick this, as Happy Hogan Save Christmas. So I agree with James. What James said exactly. I thought this was it was fun, entertaining, but it, I don't know. It was just okay, overall.
Good stuff. Simon?
Hella is my favorite one, and yeah, I don't like the Happy Hogan one.
That's really interesting. I think, we've all kind of circled around episode 6 and 7 as our favourites. I think they're very, very strong episodes.
Yeah.
For me, it's Hella. I thought that was a really good episode. My worst one, although I didn't like Happy Hogan, I have to say the one that I just found quite dull was episode 1, Nebula Gems and Overcall.
Okay.
True,
I don't know why. Maybe I just wasn't in the right fettle to watch it. I don't know. I'll have to go back and rewatch it, I think. But it just felt quite flat for me. Fuzzy's saying his top 3 episodes, episodes 6, 7, and 8 in that order. That's a great lineup, Fuzzy. I think they're very strong episodes. Fuzzy, let me know what you think the weakest episode was. So yeah, overall, what would you give this series and guys out of 5? We'll start with Efren.
Okay, out of 5, because of the last parts of the last episodes, I'd give it a 4.
Okay, strong. James?
3.5, I think. I feel like the best of this is up there with the best of season 1, but like the worst 4 episodes of this are like the worst of the entire show, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
slightly under season 1, I think.
I think that's fair. How about you, Simon?
I agree with James. 3.5. Like, I think those first 4 episodes just bring it down. I just prefer season 1. I would go watch that again and again and again. But those, 3 episodes are great. But yeah, the rest just, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 3 as well. I think for me, I think it's got some very, very strong episodes, but a lot of it just felt a bit meh to me. I think for me, going forward, they should do exactly as Fuzzy suggested. I think you need to make each episode stand alone, and an easy way to do that is to have different artists on each episode. Make it a bit more different.
Well, they won't because we've already got a clip of season 3.
I know.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
exact
the
same
problem.
style.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
And it would be good to have other directors and people's input rather than I think they're trying to save them money from having the same
'cause
animation and the same.
You can bring people in and they can do literally anything, like any story they want to, kill anyone they want to, whatever. You should make use of that, I think.
Fuzzy saying the weakest 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I agree with that. Started off well for me as well, mate. 2.5 Fuzzers, too much filler, average overall. Yeah, I think that's fair, Fuzzy. This is interesting. This is something Efren sent us to say that there was originally going to be a really dark episode in there involving Spider-Man, which was called Children of Men with Spider-Man. I don't know what's.
I don't think that's what it was actually going to be
No,
called.
but he's saying that's what it was called.
Yeah,
that's what they were
that's good.
calling it. Yeah,
that sounds cool. Like, that
what
sounds
is
interesting.
Children of Men?
It's a post-apocalictic movie. It's Last of Us is a little bit inspired by it. So like this sort of it's interesting, very very dark, gritty kind of survival kind of thing.
And I wonder if that's what my negativity about this is. That when I think about season 1, the ones that had the biggest impact were things like the Dark Sorcerer
Supreme.
the Dark Sorcerer Supreme episode. I don't think we ever had anything really quite as emotional as that in this series.
Also, did Spider-Man show up at all?
No.
He's not in it at all, is he?
No,
Yeah,
he's not.
yeah,
No,
it's
he's not
crazy.
in it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I think
because of Sony. Maybe it's because Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. I'm not sure if they own the animated rights to Spider-Man.
Well, if they were doing this episode, I'd imagine that Sony was playing ball with them for it.
That's true,
Yeah, it's a shame. I would like to have seen that. That could have been the highlight. It was unfortunate.
Yeah, interesting. And then we had this. This kind of came out of nowhere. So
Bizarre.
Basically, the lead writer for it for the last 2 seasons is no more. They're leaving. But there was this quite a long kind of clip of
3.5 minutes.
season 3, which is basically Winter Soldier and Red Guardian in a car trying to evade some police.
It's Goliath, isn't it? The cop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I know it's Winter Soldier, and I know we love Winter Soldier. It felt very long and drawn out to me, and I don't know. It didn't excite us as I'd hoped it might. It was funny, I suppose, when he's with the gun and stuff. Efren? Did you see this?
I seen it. Yeah. I wasn't blown away on it, but it's only a small clip of it. Who knows what the whole storyline is? But I'm going to watch them, of course.
Oh yeah.
And we'll be back in a couple months doing this again on Peter's channel.
Yeah,
Dissecting season 3. But I mean, it's a buddy film. I thought, wow, these both guys, I think they have super soldier serum too. Or no, Bucky didn't have that. I apologize. But yeah, hopefully it's a good storyline. That's all I care about is a good storyline. And I kind of starting to agree with you guys. I think they should do different animation. It's becoming kind of redundant.
Do you think this is like a Tony Stark on Sakaar kind of thing where they had this episode finished nearly and they said we'll just hold this for the next season?
I don't know. It just feels very strange that they put it out
immediately to throw out a 3-minute clip of an episode where nothing really happens in it.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. Yeah. I think this is finished, and they just said, "Well, we'll just throw it out and get some buzz."
If you were doing a kind of a let's do a sizzle reel to excite people about season 3, I have to say this isn't it. This didn't. If you're a kid who's just come out of an MCU movie, and you say, "Oh, watch this. This is a new cartoon coming out." I don't know that this would make you think, "Oh, great, I'll rush to watch that." It was
That's another thing up here. Would kids actually watch What If?
I think if it was standalone episodes, of shocking stories, not your slight changes or whatever, like What If should be, really kind of interesting. And also, one of the things I think about this series, that now I've just started thinking it through in my head, the whole joy of the What If comic, and we've got a slide about the comics in a bit, was my joy of it is it's like Elseworlds. It's so unpredictable. Yeah. You have Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in a lineup. You're not guaranteed those 3 are surviving by the end of the issue because you can do whatever you want with them. Tell us, in this entire series, did anybody die? Did we lose any heroes or anything like that? There was no stakes to anything.
The zombies, they were technically dead.
Well, that's from season 1 though. Like season 1, you had it in season 1, like the one where the entire Avengers get killed.
Yeah. In this one, I don't remember any kind of.
No, Odin, I suppose.
There's no dark, gritty, or shock of awe or anything in these, are they? And it just the thing, and like you said, they need to be separate. More separate animations would do it, and it just doesn't feel like the comics.
Yeah,
I think part of the problem is we're a specific niche who collect comic books and read them, but they're going for a more broader audience. People who don't read comic books who enjoy this. So when they do these storylines, I don't think they're just thinking about us comic book collectors, what we want to see, what we're used to. They care about everybody else.
Do you know what, Efren? Again, I think that's a really good point because I don't think it's just that. I think it's that they are, rightfully so, I suppose, desperately trying to tie this series into the MCU, and I think what I want is What If from the Marvel comics.
Yeah,
it gives you much bigger emphasis on different characters and stuff, and you can tie that in like they've tried to do with Marvel Zombies and with 1602 and all that kind of stuff, I guess. But they are very handcuffed in some ways to the versions of the characters we used to seeing in the MCU, I suppose. Fuzzy, that's what we want at Christmas, dead superheroes. Absolutely mate.
Yeah, more carnage.
Yeah. That brings me on to the comic book. This first book there, The Best of What If, I remember getting that book when I was about 14 or 15 or something like that, and it blew my mind. That was my introduction to the What If universe. And you really do get some, like I say, storylines where they're not afraid to bump characters off and things like that. So if you're into What If, I would really recommend picking up, if you can get a copy of that one. There is the new omnibus version out there, What If Into the Multiverse. So basically it's exactly the same. It's What If storylines, but they've slapped multiverse on the cover because that's the big buzzword at the moment. But it's basically covering a whole host of stories. And you see on the last image there, that's all the different issues that appear in that book. And you've got some stonkers, like What If Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires, which is an absolutely brilliant series. What If the Avengers lost Galactic Storm is heartbreaking. I mean, literally the world blows up on that one. There are some real good books in that, so I would recommend picking that up if you like that kind of tale, What If tale. I would also recommend strongly dipping your toe into the DC version of What If, which is the Elseworlds line. Quite often I forget that Kingdom Come was officially branded an Elseworld, but you've got Gotham by Gaslight, Superman, Red Sun. Yeah. You've got all of the Dark Reign series, which is where Batman's a vampire. 3 books in that line, I think, which are just amazing. I always bang on about Speed and Bullets, where basically Superman's spaceship crashes in Gotham and he's adopted by the Waynes. That's a tremendous one. Brightest Night, I think it's called. There's another one where he's Green Lantern. The Nail is a fabulous series, which is all about superheroes again, kind of going a slightly different route. So yeah, really, really worth picking up some of them. You guys read any of the Elseworlds stuff?
Yeah, Gotham by Gaslight is one of my favorites. Yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's just amazing. Out on, I think there's an animated version out now, James. I haven't seen it.
I think so. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, worth looking at. Efren, how about yourself?
The only one I've read so far has been Kingdom Come, but you talked about it so much.
What were you going to say there? You kept banging on about it. Is that what you said?
Yeah. But I'm glad you did. I went, oh my God, it's only 4 episodes long. It was such a great storyline. I went, wow, this is really good. I'm really glad I read it. Now I got to read these two, so I'm going to look them up.
Yeah. Superman Red Sun is superb.
Yeah.
Absolutely superb. Simon, how about yourself? You read any of these?
I've not read them, but Superman Red Sun is an animated one. I have watched that. So
yeah, it's well worth a read. Fuzzy's saying we should bring back our What If show. God, it's a long time since we've done that, Fuzzy. But yeah, I used to enjoy that. That one. Tragedy Tales, welcome. I picked up the Marvel Zomnibus. Ooh, very nice. Now, you'll have to let me know what you think, Tragedy, about that, because it starts off, in my mind, very strong with some of the Ultimate Fantastic Four stuff. And then it gets a bit silly at some points later on down the line, but there's some great stories in that. Really, really cool. And yes, I would absolutely recommend picking up Kingdom Come. One of my all-time... If you like DC characters, it's one of my all-time favourites. I just think there's some beautiful scenes in it. And stunning artwork by Alex Ross. You can't go wrong with Alex Ross. And JP, Red Sun is a great read. It's excellent. If you're not familiar with that one, it's where basically Superman is a Russian. And it's very, very cool. Okay, guys. Anything to add on any of the What If stories or books that you would recommend to anybody?
I've got one. What if Silver Surfer gains the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah, I've read that.
That's
Great
a good one.
cover as well to that one. Simon.
Yeah.
That's a very cool one. Yeah. Fuzzy's just saying the recent zombie run is poor. Fuzzy, I read, is that Zombies Black, White and Red or something? I think I read one issue and it was a Peach Momoko story and I just couldn't get my head around it. So I jettisoned from that one, I'm afraid. Okay, chaps. Thank you very much. That's been really, really interesting. I'm going to end with one question for you all. If looking at the MCU as it is now, if you could write a what if, or you wanted to see a what if story, what would you go for? What would you like to see in a what if tale?
Like plot you on about?
Yeah, give us. I don't want you to write the episode. So
Yeah.
give
No,
us.
I want a script,
Yeah.
a story treatment, some animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you go for, James? What would you think?
I'm pretty sure when we did season 1, I'd mentioned that this was what I wanted to see. Tony Stark versus Wenwu, like a Mandarin versus
Yeah, that would be very
Iron Man story. Like, I'd love to see that. Something we didn't get in the movies. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be very cool because they hinted at it strongly in the first movie, didn't we? The 10 rings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we never really got an Iron Man.
Never got it.
basis.
I think, if Iron Man had hung around a bit longer, or like Shang-Chi had happened earlier, like we probably would have gotten that. Like, they could have. That could have been the villain of Iron Man 3, is like an actual Mandarin.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Simon, how about yourself?
One's just come to mind. So you know how DC Lex Luthor gets all the bad guys together
Yeah,
and like gathers them up. I would like to see something like that, like Red Skull was one of them, and he gets them from all the multiverses and all the bad guys, and it's a big matchup.
Yeah, that would be interesting because we've not,
Yeah.
and I suspect we might get something like that in Secret Wars, but
Yeah.
we've not really had a big team up kind of event, have we?
No.
Efren, have you had some time to think?
Yeah. So I have two that just popped in my head. One, Matt Murdock, Daredevil's one of my favorite characters. One would be, what if Matt Murdock wasn't blind? What would be, how would his powers, go forward? Another one I just thought of it too. What if Black Widow had stayed in Russia, and hadn't come over to the United States? I think that'd be a good one. See what her
That would
story
be very
was.
cool. That would be very cool. Yeah. Mine kind of ties in with something that Fuzzy's just said here. Fuzzy's saying, "What if the Hulk wasn't a bitch?" But that's exactly what I wanted to see. I would like to see a what if version of the Marvel universe where the Hulk remains a beast, and watching the Avengers have to take him down. So you could have an entire movie around that, and you could end that with, them blasting him off into space and then lead into World War Hulk or something along those lines. But I want to see an Avengers versus the Hulk movie.
Well, they've kind of done that with Maestro, the future version of Hulk.
Yeah, in the comics.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's an amazing. James, are you guys familiar with the Maestro?
I know the character, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
amazing.
an absolutely amazing two-parter by Peter David, I think. But kind of when you're first introduced to his home, it's just stunning to look at, because there's just like Iron Man's helmet in a trophy case, Thor's hammer, a bit of a quantum band, a bit of Doctor Strange's cape. It's just littered with the kind of the remnants. So yeah, I'd love to see that. Or an Old Man Logan, actually. That's a really interesting future.
Yeah,
I'd like to see
too.
that as well.
Yeah.
Linked, Fuzzy, linked. Okay, guys, that was interesting. That's the end of What If review. Alex, nice to see you, bud. You'll have to catch up with what we thought. Let me know in the comments, Alex, if you've watched What If Season 2 and what you thought of it overall. We're marking it out of 5. Angry, Violent Hulk, do it. Absolutely. I think it's sad what they made him into. Mention a few things on my channel. We've got my best of 23 video. We've got the conversation about the Thunderbolts casting, and we've got a CGC update. More recently, I put out a video yesterday which was about CGC grading Blu-rays and steel books. Sorry. I've got 2 more videos stacked this week, which are kind of news pieces. One about Whatnot. I can't even remember what the other one's about. So check those out when they come out. We did a live show on Saturday where we talked in depth with a guy from Shortboxed. It was really, really interesting. So please do check that out. Fuzzy, love your work, gents. Great Gremlins video, James. So yeah, mentioning what that is all about. So James, I'll be right back.
Yeah, so our newest episode is on Gremlins, which Peter, you edited and did a fantastic job. So Fuzzy, this guy deserves the credit for that one. So that was last Friday. We'll have One Good Scare back on Friday. We'll be talking about Night Swim, and there's been quite a bit of news, so we'll have a few things to talk about then. And then the next episode of I'll Be Right Back will be Gremlins 2, because we enjoyed the first one so much. We just said we'll do the 2 of them together. So
yeah, Gremlins 1 was great fun. So looking forward to seeing what thoughts on Gremlins 2, because it's from memory, I don't think I've got the same nostalgic feel about Gremlins 2 as I
it's not going to be as
Gremlins
good.
1.
I know it's not.
So yeah, great stuff on One Good Scare Show. If you've not subscribed, please do so. Please go and check out the channel. There's some great content on there. Looking forward to a live show this Friday. And as James says, we'll be talking about Night Swim, which is a movie I saw yesterday. James is going to see tomorrow. Efren, have you got a pool in your stately home?
Oh, no.
Trust us, mate. You watch Night Swim. You're not going to be swimming anymore. You're not going to be dipping your toes in the pool anymore.
Not nice, anyway.
Yeah. No, we're not during the. No, I'm not going to spoil it for you, James. Yeah, it's a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
Okay, and I just wanted to mention some of the stuff from the Killer Comic Show. You know, I work with the Killer Comic Show team. Charlie's really, really trying hard to get some extra content out to you guys, some new, fresh content. So every Monday now, he's doing his top 15, not top 10, his top 15 comic book releases. That came out today at 2 o'clock, I believe. It's a really good watch. So they're the comics that are coming out this week. Worth checking that out. On Wednesday, we've got Thank Final Order Cutoff, where we'll be going through the comics in a bit more detail. So that is tomorrow night at 8. No, sorry, not tomorrow night. Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So check that out. And then on Thursday, we've got the Killer Comics Show as usual, with all of our usual stuff. Efren, what we've got coming up over on Past Point Comics?
I've been focusing on my shorts recently. I've really been enjoying them.
Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous.
And Peter and I are going to be doing our monthly advanced orders. It's going to be on my channel this time. And plus, Peter and I are going to be doing, hopefully we'll do this month too. We ask each other 5 questions, and I would like doing that. I'm trying to think of another live show. I'll let you guys know if obviously I'll include some of you guys with me. So, but we'll see. I'm just having fun, like I said, on YouTube, and I really enjoy just hanging out and talking to you guys. I hadn't seen Simon for a couple months at least, which was great.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Tragedy, no idea why that is so expensive. It's probably a variant, a limited variant, and sometimes they go up for crazy prices, mate. Simon, anything coming up on your channel?
Not my channel, but obviously I'm doing a Whatnot next Friday. It's not this coming Friday, but next Friday I'll do a Whatnot.
Quick question, Simon, for Whatnot, since you're over there in the UK, how does shipping work? Who pays for that?
The buyers pay for shipping, so they pay for the shipping, and then they pay. I think it's like an extra 6p for every added comic.
60p.
Yeah.
So I think the standard fees for a UK shipping, Efren, is £2.70, and then for every additional comic you pay 60 pence. But I haven't seen any for international shipping. So I presume that'll be more expensive.
Yeah.
Good stuff. James, anything else coming up from you, mate, that you want to mention?
No, just one good scare. That's all the stuff I got coming up. So
wait a minute, James. In about 2 years, you're going to do the Last of Us recaps, right?
Efren, I'm thinking, I'm surprised and slightly disappointed that he's not taken the opportunity to talk about some of the awards that happened last night. Surely that put a little smile on your little face.
Well, Pedro lost, so.
Well, I know, but.
Oh, the Irishman, all the Irish guys that.
No, Last of Us. They got what you call them? Got best guest star.
Yeah. Nick Offerman and
I mean, it shows how little he cares about The Last of Us. Call yourself a bloody fan.
Well, we'll talk about it on Friday. Okay.
What a horror show! Is it a horror show?
It's a horror show. Yeah.
Is it a horror show?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Not true.
Well,
Anyway, that's your whack, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching tonight, guys, and thank you so much to you guys for joining. Well, it's lovely to have you back, James, and nice to see you again, Simon. Always a pleasure to spend time with you, Efren, my number one. And we'll call it a night, guys. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Can't speak tonight.